welcome back to Smashing Nets Podcast. This is going to be our recaps for the Gauntlet 2, episodes 2 and 3. My name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? If you were listening close enough, you possibly could have picked up me biting my nails, which there was a little smacking sound.
Yeah, I didn't know. I had my back turned to you, and I didn't know what you're doing. I typically go back and just kind of trim that first part off just in case any of it comes through.
That doesn't look like it did, though.
Looks can be deceiving.
Right.
You never know.
It's true.
Did you think I was kissing at you?
I honestly didn't. I didn't think it was that. That wouldn't have made the top 10.
It
probably.
sounded like you were like making bubbles in your mouth. You know, like the
Right.
spitty bubbles, they make a noise.
Well, let's get into something a little personal.
Okay.
All right, you guys kiss, obviously.
No, we don't.
I've
never kissed anybody in my life.
All right, but I'm gonna assume we won't get too deep here. I'm gonna assume that each of you guys feel like the other is a good kisser.
Where's this going?
Have you ever had a bad experience kissing somebody? And what made it bad?
Yes.
What made it bad?
They didn't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I dated someone that habitually had bad breath.
Oh,
You know who it is.
okay.
I mean, it was years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I know. Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. And it was
I
just
remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it was weird.
I do.
It was weird.
Is it awful to say that she looks like she would have bad breath?
I mean, I guess that's up to you. Haven't seen
don't know
her.
who it was.
Haven't seen her in like 7 years. So.
Would you consider yourselves good kissers?
I'm pretty good. I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
experience.
I took a lot of classes on it to really like up my game.
Do you think there's YouTube content out there?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's.
I mean, I don't know.
But there's enough educational
That's
videos
the
on
thing.
YouTube that I guarantee there's somebody that's like, I want to help people.
You know what? We can
Here's
find
how
out.
you do it.
Yeah, look this up.
What I was gonna say, because I tell everyone, I was like, oh, if you're interested in something, there's someone on YouTube that will teach you how to do it.
Well, the
Yeah,
reason I'm bringing
yeah.
this up is because
you need a good coach.
no, my girlfriend and I we actually brought this up the other night.
What should I type in here?
How to kiss
Yeah.
This is gonna screw my
for your first kiss. That's a good one. How to kiss for your first kiss.
The first
wow.
view 6 years ago, 11 million views. The first video.
And there's actually like a real animated video here.
From WikiHow, which
yeah.
they teach.
Hey, they do all kinds of stuff.
they have-
Let's watch it.
They have more views per
year.
right.
Yeah.
4.5 million in one. Oh, this is only a minute 11. Go ahead and play that.
Well, my volume's off. Okay. Well,
So if you guys,
it's an ad. It's an ad for Fraggle
For
Rock.
Fraggle Rock, I love Fraggle Rock.
If you guys want to know what we're watching, it's just How to Kiss
From WikiHow.
from WikiHow.
It's got 4.5 million views.
Yeah.
And it was just
Someone decided to put this up in the middle of COVID.
Can we have the sound on for this?
Well, I didn't want the ad on.
Right.
If
Okay.
you want to kiss someone, get the go-ahead first by flirting with them and seeing if they flirt back, or asking directly if you can kiss them.
Yeah, don't just walk
Then
up to somebody and kiss
lean
them.
in closer to them and tilt your head a little to avoid bumping noses. Close your eyes, open your mouth slightly, and let your lips connect naturally. Don't press too hard with your lips at first. If your first kiss goes well, put your partner's lower lip between your lips so your lips fit together. Then, lightly run your tongue over your partner's lower lip. If they seem into it, try gently moving your tongue into your partner's mouth. Go slow and don't rush things. Remember to breathe through your nose as you're kissing so you don't run out of breath. Kissing can feel a little awkward at first, but it will get better the more you practice. If you know you're going to be kissing someone, put on some chapstick and suck on a mint beforehand so your lips and breath are good to go.
So that's it.
We learned how to French.
By the way, all the related videos it wants me to watch now from WikiHow are how to French kiss, how to have a sensual kiss, how to make out, how to give someone a hickey. Also, the top related one is from, I'm assuming this is an alpha male channel. It's like top 6 kissing don'ts, how to be a better kisser.
Right.
So I hate that this is gonna start appearing in what? Hey,
I think it's funny.
You watch this cool tennis video. Guess what? You need to kiss.
She told me something that her worst kissing experience. Because I asked what made it bad, It wasn't me, but she said he was all teeth.
What does that mean?
That every time
like
he would
biting?
come in to kiss, like she could feel his like. He just, I don't know what that
That's
means
weird.
really.
Okay, you know what? I can bring this into the episodes we just watched. If I'm being totally honest,
Okay.
There was a moment. I think it was at the end of episode 2, where Randy and Keena are on a bed together and they're talking about, "Hey, I love you. I don't want to do this without you."
I love you.
And then he goes to kiss her, and he like envelops her nose to start, and then like go. It's like he aimed for between like where your like cleft palate is, like between the nose and the upper lip, and
He kissed where a mustache would be.
yeah,
Right, okay.
and it's like he aimed for that. I literally thought he was going to like put her nose in his mouth,
It was weird.
and then Hannah didn't see it, so I rewound it, and she's like, "I thought he went to kiss her forehead, and then just didn't get there."
Okay.
And
it was weird.
They need to watch that video.
Yeah.
But that wasn't out in 2005.
Okay.
Or whenever this was.
So your worst kiss was
Bad breath.
was because of bad breath.
I'm assuming so. I mean, yeah, for sure. For
Okay.
sure.
Her worst kiss was
It was all teeth.
teeth.
That's strange.
It's a weird one. I don't
Yeah.
even know how that would work.
My worst kiss was you guys, what's funny is you guys both know him well enough. He didn't know how to move his lips. Yes.
Who'd you say? I thought you said no. I thought you said
was-
someone else that we know.
And it was our first kiss, and we had been best friends for years and decided to try it, and afterwards I was like, oh, this was our sign that we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. Mine was we all know this person.
Okay.
Which makes sense. You would probably
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
It was as if she kept her teeth clenched.
I like
all
that
the
we've had to
time.
mouth so many names during
It's
this.
as if she had her teeth clenched all the time. It was just
So maybe hers was teethy.
right. And she actually told me at the top, I don't make out.
She's like, I like teeth.
Yeah. So, bad. Just,
Ironically, if that's your worst kiss, that was also her first kiss.
So best and worst. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. High five.
I do what I can for the people I love. So.
Yeah. I wasn't planning on walking down that memory lane.
But here we are.
Right. You never know what I'm bringing to the table.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true. You always bring up something.
Hannah's taking her shoes off for some reason.
But it
right now.
always
I like to sit cross-legged.
it always flows.
does it now.
I think so.
The-
I mean,
kissing?
I was able to connect the dots to the Randy and Keena thing.
Right.
By the way, Hannah cannot tell the difference between Keena and Kara.
No, I asked several times which was which. And like
I was like, if they go into an elimination against each other, I was like, you're just gonna have to blindly pick who you think it is. I don't think they look. I mean, I think they favor, but to me, I was like, Kara is the prettier one out of the two.
Well, after we talked about this in the middle of episode 3, and it showed there was a point where it showed Keena up close, and then it showed Kara just a second later. Like they zoomed in on her in a group shot, and Zach was like, "That one's Kara," and I was like, "No, they look exactly the same to me. They are the same person."
Sort of. But I can tell the difference.
Yeah.
But I understand your concern, Han.
But I also was familiar with both of them before this season.
Yeah.
Like they're not new to me.
All of these people are new to me.
Let me
for
ask
the
you
most
this,
part.
Han. Zach and I have
Why are
seen.
you rubbing your legs so much?
He's nervous about this question he's
good.
going to ask me.
We've watched this before, so we're familiar with a lot of these people.
Yeah. Now I honestly don't remember.
And when I say
anything
we,
from
me, I'm
this-
talking about me and Zach.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from this season
Right.
really. But yeah.
Well, are there give me a couple of competitors here, Han, who have stood out to you that you did not know about prior to this.
I mean, most, like probably 90% of the cast I didn't know prior.
yeah. I mean, you like MJ and
There's
Landon.
there's definitely people in this house that stand out to me, but not like, oh, these are the front runners to win.
She thinks Timmy's like 60 years old.
Timmy's got to be somebody's like 53-year-old
He's
dad.
31.
He looks like it. He talks like it. Dresses like it. Timmy is somebody is like these. He looks like he could be the father of the rest of the house. So Timmy always stands out to me. In episode 3, when Anissa gets into the verbal altercation, her eyeshadow stood out to me.
Boy.
And it was a choice.
I told her. It
was a choice that she made.
This is the Anissa I remember from back then. And I was like, I never liked her. And I was just like, that's just how it was.
Do you understand why?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's not like that now.
And it's kind of foreshadowing, but like we both at the same time at one of these episodes had the exact same thought. I was typing a note about it, and she said it to me, and we were just like, boy, like Derek's really unlikable in this season.
Not
so
a
far.
Derek fan today.
And I don't remember that from back then.
He was back in the day. He was kind of
But even his team was like, oh, this guy's got
he's
got popcorn in his brain.
Nut job, yeah.
I just remember. I guess you kind of until you revisit it, just kind of like the big highlight moments are what stick out. Like the big wins and the eliminations and that type of stuff. And it's just like, man, like he's like really combative and like wanting people to like, no, you say to my face what you think of me, and it's just like Mark just wants to throw names in a hat. And I don't know.
I've always been like, not really for or against Derek in other seasons that I've seen him in, but I've always been like, oh, Derek's here. Okay, cool. I'm not loving Derek right now.
Yeah. And you know what? We just FYI, we got a lot of things wrong in the last episode. We were throwing out names of past seasons and format stuff, and trust us, we have stat people in our Slack groups. They corrected it all. It's gonna the Gauntlets and the Infernos this era run together so much to me that it all just becomes a blur. And I think I said Kindle's season was the Inferno 3. It's the Inferno 1. Like,
wow,
that's my fault. There's
you don't hear that a lot.
There's a couple other things like it's just again it all just is,
and it's recorded.
Yes.
It's like we can go back and listen to it.
It's a big blur. And I'm not going to go back and read all the corrections, but I'm sure if you guys were familiar with these seasons, you know what we said wrong. We're just riffing. We're going off top of our heads. We haven't watched back through any of these since we watched the Inferno 1 before we interviewed Kendall and Tori, however long ago that was, over 2 years ago at this point.
Because we were at our other house.
And so again, it's just we're just we're riffing, guys. We're having fun.
Just a riffing and a raffing and a live, laugh, laughing.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but we're gonna. It means what?
Wow. It just means
you're just careening off the path into ways that just kill every conversation.
I told you earlier I had a headache. I took some Tylenol when we got home a few hours ago, and it's gotten progressively worse. I think I have a migraine coming on, and I'm not. It's hard to think right now.
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and jump into episode 2 of the Gauntlet, which I think, when we left, we're like, wow, I can't believe Joe's going to threaten to call the police. She did call the police.
What was so funny was she actually did call the cops, and on the phone with the police, she said if they did not come and get her out of this house, she was going to sue the whole island.
Yeah. Which I think it's multiple islands.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I haven't really looked into the layout of Trinidad and Tobago, but there's 2 names, so I would assume there's at least 2 islands.
Yeah.
Well, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's really. I told Hannah when we were watching, like when they get to the Gauntlet area, I was like, look at how like different it is, like where the people stand, like production wise now versus back then.
Do you see them a lot?
What do you mean?
The production crew.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I meant just like where the like other cast stands. Like think of the last season we just watched, when that like huge like stone thing and everything's like 400 feet tall, right. And this is like somebody nailed together some rails and they're all just standing there. It's just obviously the show has changed a lot in the last few years. But she says she's going to sue the whole island. The police, to their credit, do come,
and they whisk her away.
Is this? Someone can, as Jake says, comment below. Is this the first time police have taken someone away at their own request? Like, get me out of here.
So she,
At their own request, probably.
I mean, I just maybe in general, I don't remember anybody getting arrested on the show, but
Yeah, you know, what a weird deal, right? With Joe. Did they actually take her? Did the police actually come?
they
Yeah,
moved.
they were the ones that picked her up and took her.
I watched this episode 3 nights ago, and I watched episode 3 tonight.
They took her luggage from the house and put it in their cars, and she got in a police car
How do you
and
think she
rode
got
off
that
with
number?
them.
It can't be 911.
I would assume like yeah, but I would assume just for like briefing the cast when they get there, they're like, hey, you know, if anything happens, blah blah blah. Here's emergency contacts.
You can call the police anytime.
Yeah.
This was
Well,
premeditated.
not like that.
Okay.
But I mean, I would assume just like they have to give you a rundown, like, hey, if there is an emergency and for some reason cast or crew's not around, which nowadays crew's there 24/7.
Yeah.
And there's like producers at all times there. And again, like it's a different show, but it did seem more like they were kind of like in the house. They're kind of on their own, and maybe they said, "Hey, here's you know, somebody tried to break into the house while we're not here. Call the police." Because she knew the number, and to their credit, again, they came. They picked up her luggage.
So they go in to start the season. Y'all, if y'all need the cops, here you go. Numbers
guess.
plastered on the refrigerator.
It's just like when you have like a babysitter or something. Like, here's all the emergency contacts. Here's poison control.
Here's the firefighters if there's somebody sticks metal in the microwave.
Jake almost did that at my parents' house one time.
My mom did that one time.
He's about to microwave a fork, and I was like, "You can't do that."
No, my mom actually
I did do that.
My mom actually did that. She didn't do a fork. She made muffins, and instead of the paper muffin holders, it was the aluminum foil one.
Yeah, that's a bad
And
idea.
she wanted to warm it up, and she wasn't thinking, and she stuck it in the microwave and like put it on, and it started sparking and stuff, and she screamed and freaked out and took it out. Thankfully, there wasn't a fire, but a few years ago, my youngest sister, who is, bless her heart, she put a fork in the microwave one time, and it was really bad. There's no fire, but we still make fun of her for that.
Yeah, Jake was at the time. I don't remember how old you were, but you were out of high school. It was,
Old enough.
It was
Oh,
just,
yeah.
It was just one of those things like you're just not thinking.
I will say, like that, I still struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I do things
With forks?
No, I just do things and my brain doesn't work, and I see it in my little brother who just moved in with me.
Uh-huh.
It's eerily similar where his brain just shuts off sometimes in the midst of doing the simplest things, and he just doesn't do what you should do.
Please tell me what he's done.
Let me think of a.
He might listen to this. So.
I mean, it's just as simple as like he still struggles to lock the door at my house.
Oh, I don't like that.
Well, just so people know, like he grew up like out kind of in the
In the middle of
country.
nowhere, yeah.
And so like that's not much of a concern, I guess.
Yeah. But he I don't know, it could be something as simple as like if I left something in the house, I know exactly where it's at, and I gave him the exact description of where it's at. It's not hidden under anything. It's just here. It's sitting on this end of the. He's not going to find it. He's just not.
Oh, no.
He's not going to find it. And I'll go there, like let's say, he texts me. He's like, I can't find it. Then I show up at my house. I'm like, bub, and I'll point at it. And there it is. And he's like, I can't believe I didn't see it. So
I love him so
that's
much.
what I'm talking about. But I can say that because I did the same sort of stuff. Like, hey, he's a lot like me. But
You lose your keys almost every time you
I
come
do.
over here.
It's miserable.
Or wallet.
Or wallet.
I lose it at my house. In my own house, I lose my keys regularly, twice a week
That's
at
why
least.
we have a place. You just hang them, and
know.
then you're done. So we get to the daily, just called Chock Full of Coconuts, and Keena becomes the new captain because obviously Joe just went home, and Keena was, I believe, the next to last person to go off that Royal Rumble raft thing that they did.
Yeah.
And so she's the new thing. One thing I did notice in this is TJ's audio was awful. Like, they had him, like, gained up way too loud, so he was clipping out, and it was just, like, really distorted. And they may have had to do that because they were by the water, and it was just, like, noisy there. I don't know. It was just, you can tell production's not to the level. They wouldn't get away with that these days.
He also has a very, like, Southern California, I'm about to go surfing tone to his voices.
First season, you got to remember. It's
he's got to grow into it.
Oh, his vibe's definitely changed. And I don't like to use that word either.
You love it.
Vibe and energy.
You don't like it, you love it.
We went to Target yesterday, and there was a girl getting out of the car in front of us, and her shirt just said vibes.
Not good vibes or bad vibes. It just said vibes.
Just so you're aware of it.
She needs to burn that shirt.
She was also like 16.
I saw someone on Twitter that was like quote tweeting something, and it was like, normalize not having or people with bad vibe, blah blah stuff. And the guy with that quote tweeted, it was just like, it's just called not liking someone. Like, you don't have to like everyone. It's not like having people change their vibes for you. Like, that's just such a stupid mindset to be in. Like, you're gonna not like some people.
I mean, it's not humanly possible to like everyone. And I'm the type of person, I want to like everyone and be liked by everyone, but every now and then I find somebody that I just don't want thing to do with.
We were just talking about this before we came in here. Mm-hmm. One of the nicest human beings on the planet, and I can't stand him.
Yeah,
I can't.
I mean, he
lingers.
And that's got to be his only fault.
Hey, we got a lot of listeners on this pod. Don't be a lingerer.
Yeah, it's like a Seinfeld character, like close talker or like that. It's just like he's just there, and like the conversation ends, and then there's got to be.
Yeah. And then I get asked a question like, "So you heard any good music lately?"
Yeah, it's just like,
you can be a liar, you can be a cheater, but for God's sake, don't be a lingerer.
Sure.
Preferably don't be any of the three.
But Jake's ranking is at the top. So we find out in this daily that the winners, not only the team wins $10,000, but the captain, I believe, wins $1,000 Best Buy gift certificate.
Oh, heck yeah.
Which it kind of hit me that like they would never say that now. They would say gift cards. Mm-hmm. And I was like, when did like the like in the colloquialism or whatever, or in the lexicon of, when did it change from gift certificate to gift card?
I don't know, but my notes, I wrote gift card.
But that's not what he said. Both episodes,
I know there's a difference.
Yeah.
But I still wrote gift card.
Because that used to be like a thing. It was a printed thing back in the day. It wasn't a card you scanned. It was just like they would write down, you have this much, and then mark it out and hand it back to you. And
the boutique I work at, like 2 days a week, they do gift certificates. Like you write out like a very oversized check, and still like somebody's like, "Hey, I need a gift card." I'm like, "Okay, exactly. Well, here's your gift card."
But I'm saying like, so the framing of that word changed at some point, and I just never realized it. And this was in 2004 or something like that.
2004, inflation.
Yeah.
How much could you get with $1,000 at Best Buy?
Oh, man, we used to go buy CDs there all the time.
That's true.
In 2004?
Right around that time. And speaking of, they played a trailer in the middle of this daily.
You got really excited about it, too.
I got to tell you, I still think when it comes to just...
I'm pretty sure I bought that album at Walmart.
Background music in the challenge, this was the best era. Because even like at the end of episode 3, when Keena and Randy are talking, there's this really pretty, just like acoustic music behind them.
I didn't know who that was.
I don't either, but, you know, I like that better than that stuff we do now, you know? You know,
yeah,
just
I don't like
Jake's
it's always very
skills.
moody or like dark takes on popular songs.
Right.
And,
yeah, I don't love that. I do like the music in this era a lot more. But I was just thinking, he said $1,000 at Best Buy, and I started thinking like, boy, you could actually get a lot of stuff for $1,000 at Best Buy in 2004.
It depends. TVs have gotten cheaper for sure. Weirdly, video games are basically the same cost as they have been since like the mid 90s. They've always been like $60. And now with PS5s and stuff, they're going up to $70, which is not a huge thing. But I
was thinking like you could get a nice little CD player and all the CDs you could ever want.
CDs are about $15 a piece. 12,
you
12,
could
15.
get the little cell phone charms for your T-Mobile Sidekick or your
we had a
your
Sidekick
Razor.
thing in this. Yeah.
The one time, going back to the music here recently, that I actually like got so into the moment because of the song was, I think it was War of the Worlds. It may have been War of the Worlds 2, but it was one of them. It was the 3-way elimination with Kyle, CT, and JP.
Okay.
And Throat by Afterlife played. Never heard the song before, but it just hit so freaking hard. You got this dirty, nasty
I don't
guitar riff behind them, and then it hits, and the guy just yells, "I've got you by the throat," and I need more of that. You want me to lock back in on the challenge and actually give real takes? Hit me with the metal jams.
Are you saying you've not been given real takes lately?
Not since that. No.
So yeah, I mean this
Not
is
since they had me by the throat.
don't touch me. So in this daily, I think the rookies had a better strategy overall because they were doing guy girl pairs. Because if you drop a coconut, one person has to pick up whatever fell, and then the other person has to carry the 8-foot long bamboo poles back to the start. And so the vet team was doing guy pairs and then girl pairs, and they were getting off to a really fast start because they were running and gunning. But the rookie team just divided up a little bit better because, like, at one point the veterans had Julie and Katie, yeah, Julie and Katie as a team, and now one of them has to carry. I think that's what it came down to at the very end. Mm-hmm. Is it's like MJ and somebody, Jody, I think, versus Julie and Katie, and Julie couldn't carry those poles like MJ could. I mean, MJ's like 6'4" and a giant guy, and the vets got ahead first, but the rookies came up and they just they beat him. It may not even been as close to what they edited it to be. Because we didn't see a side-by-side thing, but I think for sure the rookies had the better strategy because they won.
Right.
Yeah. And it made sense from the beginning. So the rookies win. The vets they have 30 minutes to deliberate, and Mark...
He wants an anonymous vote.
He wants people to write a name, put it in a hat, and we'll draw it out, and then that way no one's feelings really get hurt, and they can do whatever. And for whatever reason... Derek gets really confrontational about that.
He loses it immediately.
Yeah. He made a big deal, and he's like, if you want to say something, say it to my face, blah. And then
he wanted,
but nobody had said I want to. At that point, what we had seen, nobody had said, I think Derek did really bad today or anything like that. And so
I don't know, but I actually asked you to help me understand what it was that Derek said, because while Derek was yelling, somebody else yelled in response to him in the middle of him saying something. But basically Mark wanted an anonymous written vote. Derek wanted the opposite. He said that he wanted each person to stand up in the room and say, I want you to go in. I'm voting for you. And nobody else wanted that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Casella was the one that's just like, all right, well, we're going to just write names down and put them in a hat. And we didn't even see them. They didn't show them going through. It basically just hard cut to Adam being like, it's me and Derek. And it's like, all right, well, I guess they didn't, hey, Derek's one vote, whatever. But it's Derek and Adam. TJ comes in and he spins a captain's wheel because, again, everything's pirate themed. And
I liked that, by the way.
It lands on name that coconut. So that's 2 coconut named things in one, and they couldn't have planned that, I guess.
Got pretty nuts around there, huh?
Yeah. So
he gave it a good little spin too.
We get to the Gauntlet or whatever, and there's 32 questions, and it's a trivia thing, and basically there's the name of every single cast member on a coconut. And you got to run and find out who's the right answer for whatever question TJ asks. And then once you get it, you have to get into a safe zone. And then hopefully you get it right. If you get it wrong, then the other guy can take as long as he wants to find the right answer. And I think it's an interesting idea for a daily. I don't think it was the best executed.
Also, the era of the challenge where you could literally wear whatever you wanted to the eliminations.
Yeah,
cargo shorts
and a belt,
and just a t-shirt, and
Adam no shirt right away.
Right,
and then Derek had one that got ripped off. Yeah. It's just this. I noticed that in the other one is in the next daily. It's this is because everyone's just wearing whatever shoes. They're all mismatched stuff, and it's that would never happen anymore. It's all sponsored.
Yeah,
Under Armour or Reebok on All Stars now.
Right.
And so, again, I didn't write down what happened. It's 5 questions to win. TJ did say the winner gets the quote pimp room. It's probably a
Did
big
he
time.
say pimp room?
He did.
I thought he
100%.
said champ room.
I would almost bet money on he said pimp room.
I mean, I'm not arguing.
Yeah, and
I didn't hear it well enough.
I was like, this was a time when people would be like, oh, that's real pimping.
Oh, 50 Cent had a song, right?
Yeah, a lot of them.
MF and PIMP, right?
Mm-hmm. If you're
Why
like
did
Snoop
you-
Dogg in the Super Bowl, you say the one and only.
PIMP.
yeah.
Well, I mean, he didn't say that part, but
Also, pimp my ride.
Pimp My Ride.
We've talked about this recently.
You mentioned this was, they had 32 questions ready, right? 50 Cent also had a song called 21 Questions.
did he?
Yes,
He
You
had a
ever
song
played
called
21
Candy
Questions?
Shop too.
he did. And
Candy
the
Shop's a
club
good
still
song.
bangs.
Mm-hmm.
That you go back and listen to it.
He had his own video games.
Oh yeah,
50 Cent Blood in the Sand.
right.
You ever played it?
No, I did never play, but actually got pretty good reviews.
And you go back and listen to in the club. It's just a simple little beat and just two notes. Or three. I guess it's three notes. Some variation of the three notes over and
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
And with a little guitar, it comes at just a singular note the whole time. It's crazy. Just,
Pretty
they made
wild.
millions.
But that era of rap was like that. Like "Dirt Off Your Shoulders" by Jay-Z was the same riff, dun, 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 and it's the whole song, and that's it.
Well, the rappers back then, they
Eminem,
Yep.
they were so good they didn't have to have all that
It's just a
extra
D?
stuff.
and then you add instead of a fifth, you go up one note, and you go to like from a D and a G to a D and a G sharp
Right.
on the guitar, and so it's a simpler time. I mean, there's probably still people doing stuff like that, but we basically it's I think Adam put up a decent fight in this.
TJ did tell them like 3 separate times not to wrestle,
He did.
and they just disregarded that.
I mean, I don't blame him. If I'm being honest, like again, you're there to win money. It's the complete opposite of what happens in the next episode.
Yeah.
And so Derek wins. He's the new captain. Everyone on this team is acting like, I can't believe we lost Adam. And it's just like, honestly, I don't remember Adam at all from this era. And obviously you remember Derek. Derek's kind of stayed relevant to the challenge, obviously. And
It may be just a matter of he was a much more likable guy.
well, this is Derek's quote after winning. He said, I can be a jerk to whoever I want now. And I was like, well, that's a good takeaway from this.
Yeah. And then so TJ tells Adam he's got to go back to the house and pack up. So like I'm already seeing a difference in this season as compared to the newer seasons. Newer season, if there's a chance that you're going into elimination, you already have to pack everything up.
Yeah.
So here they basically wait to see who loses and then send them back to the house.
Yeah, that
to-
adds drama because then you got to get in the, I might go home. I got to
Yeah.
pack what. So I don't. Yeah, it's just they figured some things out along the way.
So
We did-
Adam got to go back and pack everything,
Yeah.
and he actually got to like say a little farewell speech to everybody in the house before he left. And his quote was, "I wasn't the first to go home. Joe was," which is a good point.
and he also didn't have to call the police.
Yeah.
So good for you.
And right after this is when Derek was in the house. He was, I guess, moving into the pimp room or whatever. He like yelled at somebody. He's like, "Yeah, you can call me captain now."
Yeah.
And that's when I looked at you and I was like, "Ugh, I don't think I like Derek."
Yeah. It's again, to be fair, if we were all like 20 or whatever it was at the time, and you're gonna say things that you're not gonna be proud of, looking back on it.
Oh yeah.
And we did get a walk-off interview at the Gauntlet with Adam, and he just takes his bottoms off just as they're interviewing him. And then Timmy comes up and slaps him on the butt, and then he jumps in the ocean. Just hanging out.
You gotta leave your mark.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll probably remember that more than anything else he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any last thoughts on this episode? Well, next episode starts off with rain boxing, and it's David versus Alton, and then Keena versus Ruthie. And I was
Keena
like,
got her
man,
butt
I know. I was
beat.
like, Ruthie like
Holy-
laid into her, and then like Keena slips and like hits the deck really hard.
Like right as they're like, yeah, come on, we don't want anybody to get hurt now, and immediately she slips and just nails the floor.
And you know, to Keena's credit, she gets up and like they kind of like, hey, good job. Like they weren't mad. Like it was fine. She hit that like whatever that patio area really hard.
Really hard.
And,
enough to probably knock the breath out of her for a minute.
And then I believe Cyrus is who got the sidekick text. You hear that sound? That's an iconic sound from this era. The T-Mobile's little
text on the T-Mobile sidekick.
That was a thing for many years on the challenge.
Now I did notice in this they did not say we got a text from TJ.
TJ's for season though.
They said, hey, we just got a text on the T-Mobile sidekick.
Again, maybe at this point they weren't fully sold on TJ. He's just because they'd kind of done a run through of like extreme sports guys. They'd done like Johnny Mosley and then Dave Mira and TJ, which I think some of the information we talked about last week. I don't think TJ is necessarily filming all the spinoffs that are happening right now. There's some wires that were crossed on that, but I do know. Just from we have a casting spoilers group in our Slack, and I just got in there today and I was like, hey, I hate this already, and so a lot of people are not very excited for some of the information that's coming out right now.
That's right, Zach.
That's never a good sign if
it's
you're the one producing
it's basically
the show.
Nothing that you are familiar with as far as cast wise, and it's like all new Big Brother people. So it's basically Big Brother, but they're calling it the challenge. And so I was like, well, that's going to be fun to cover because the Big Brother's brought us so many great people on this season so far. Yeah. So we find out Randy and Keena love each other. Just this may have been when he kissed her weird, or maybe that was later in the episode. I don't remember. They had a handful of moments where they were just on a bed talking.
I mean, that's the best place to talk.
Sure. They kind of set up this like dynamic that. They would really be bummed out if one of them went home. And obviously that plays out later in the episode. The challenge is very strategic with stuff like that. So we get into the daily. It's called Team Builders. Again, $1,000 Best Buy gift certificates up for grabs, as well as $10,000. And this is like just a straight relay race. Mm-hmm. And this is like summer camp.
Oh, yeah. This is stuff we'd have done at a church camp.
Yeah, for sure.
This is stuff we... Honestly, like if we had a big enough group of our friends, we could do now.
I don't want to collect that many tires.
I would do it.
You think we could build something in your backyard?
Sure, if you want. But it's it's just team building stuff, and then you can't touch the ground, and Timmy DQs. I think someone called him the always agile Timmy,
the always dexterous.
Okay,
Mr.
that's what
Timmy.
it was. And I was like, it is funny that they're making fun of him because he looks so much older than everyone, and he's not really.
Yeah.
You can't convince me he's not in his 50s.
No, he's not. I don't even think now he's in his 50s. I think he's like 46 or something like that.
Can't convince me.
And then Alton DQs for the rookies, and so then he looked at the guy that called it. He was like, "Come on, man!" And then he did a cartwheel.
I watched that and I was like, what? That's so weird.
Like, by the way, they like did hard cuts to the ref or whoever it was. We've never seen that person before.
Right.
And they cut to him multiple times, and I was like, that's an interesting choice because they definitely would not do that these days. They just say, oh, they're DQ'd and they got to start over. And they'd cut to TJ probably, and he'd be like, you guys got to go back.
A lot of these games or phases, whatever you want to call it, it's really just... how can you outsmart your opponent?
Well, both teams just completely changed strategies on the tires and the boards thing, and they start using them as like boots. And I don't know if you caught this, but Timmy was carrying Anissa, and he made the craziest face I've ever seen anyone.
It was absolutely insane. It's burned in my memory.
Like, he just looked like a crazy person altogether. And I think, I don't know if he was like really in the zone or if he just was making a joke of it because he was having to carry someone. But, it's shout out Timmy. Good time for us.
Maybe pretty dexterous.
Yeah, maybe, And so the vets move on to the next phase first. They get to the rope challenge. We got like basically a 2x4 and like a stick you got to jump over. Probably what, 3-4 feet in the air? 4 feet probably.
At which point, out, there were a couple of guys like doing like a flip over it.
Yeah.
Out and just straight jumped it.
Yeah. And I think one of them, was it David that tried to flip and he like hit it with his shins or something and they had to reset?
Oh, it was MJ.
No, that was later. That was for
Okay.
that was for the rookies.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for the vets, I think it was David. He tried to do that.
Okay.
I thought it was Brad.
Because MJ was the last guy to go, I think, for the rookies, and then he did it, and they had to completely
they had
start
to all
over.
start back over.
So then you get to this big ball, and it's like, hey, move it up this hill, but you can't touch it with your hands. And the vets just had a lead at that point, and they won. And the rookies were like, we got to finish this strong, and it's whatever.
It was weird.
So
vets win, rookies lose, and so the rookies, I guess they're all in that deliberation room where they have to vote on which girl they want to go against Keena, who's their team captain. And Keena actually opens up and she's like, well, I was going to vote for Cameron, but Cameron decided that she would rather go home.
She didn't say I was going to vote. She's like, I want to go against Cameron.
Oh, I thought she said I wanted Cameron to vote for Cameron, but regardless, she's like, but I think Cameron has something to tell you guys, and Cameron's like, well, I would rather just go home because Keena would be a better leader for you guys and for the team, and I'm like, what a weird.
Jake, do you
thing to
remember
say.
Cameron at all? I don't.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like I definitely watched her Real World season.
See, I don't remember, man.
I think. Can we figure? Are you finding out?
Yeah. I'm
I want to say she was on Philly.
with
With
MJ
MJ?
and Landon.
Was that Philly?
That was Phil and Karamo. It could be though.
I think it was Brad. I think it was Brad's season.
See, I didn't watch that one. That was Paris.
No, that
Nope.
wasn't Paris.
CT was Paris.
Yeah.
I don't remember, man.
Look it up, Zach.
I'm pulling it up.
Regardless, I mean, like when you're in a deliberation to vote on one of your own team members to go into elimination, and you have someone volunteer, I mean, you're not going to fight them on
She
it.
was on the Real World San Diego in 2004.
That's Brad, isn't it?
Let me pull up.
Brad.
Let me pull up the real. It is Brad. It is that. I'm assuming Montana girl.
I think Robin was on there.
Oh, Jamie Chung.
Jamie Chung. That's a good Real World
Jamie Chung,
season.
Cameron Eubanks, Randy Barry, which is the Randy from the season, Frankie Abernathy, Brad Fiorenza, Robin Hillard.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, Hibbard. Jaquez Smith and
I remember him.
Charlie Dordovich. I don't know.
Don't remember.
I
that
never
guy.
watched that one. The one before was Paris, so that's where I got confused. But yeah, that probably was a pretty solid one. She did Battle of the Sexes too and the Gauntlet too, but I don't remember her on Battle of the Sexes too. But also, that's a season that I haven't watched since then.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably the season right. No, because this is where it's confusing. They went Inferno, Battle of the Sexes 2, the Inferno
You're just getting
2.
yourself in trouble
Then
again.
I'm looking at the wiki, and it's
Okay.
just like this is where it gets very, very confusing. So I don't remember her. I mean, again, if you're someone that just quits when the first elimination happens, like.
I want someone in the Slack group to give me props for that, by the way. I bet you guys would not have pegged me to get that right.
And we know you love a good pegging. Yeah.
You know.
So again, I just didn't remember her, and I was trying to think of where she came from because I didn't obviously watch that Real World season. I didn't know if she had been on any other challenge seasons because very forgettable, if I'm being totally honest. And so TJ comes into the deliberation, and they're like, but they're like being really coy about it. Like they're like, we're not going to tell him. Like she's going against Cameron. So he spins it, and he's like, you wanted me to spin it hard or soft? And Keena's just like, just effing spin it. And he's like, good one. And he spins it, and it ends up on Capture the Flag.
Classic.
Not a good name, but I mean, the elimination's fine, I guess, especially for this era. And they go to the Gauntlet, which I don't know if you caught this, but I rewound it and showed Hannah. Katie's just straight up just smoking right at the beginning. Like they cut to the crowd, and they're like, "Welcome everyone to the Gauntlet." And she's put a cigarette in her mouth, starts clapping, and takes it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is such a different era."
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way they would ever let anybody."
TJ also looked over at the vets and said, "You guys are looking fresh and sexy over there."
I don't remember.
What a weird thing to say.
Yeah. But he said it like, "You guys are looking fresh and sexy over there."
In his weird California beach voice this season.
Yeah.
I know he lives in Vegas. I wonder if he's from California at some point.
He might be.
We all had those phases where we talk funny.
Sure.
I don't think I did.
So, TJ...
No, that's because yours is now when you get on the phone with your mom.
Yeah. Heidi, y'all.
Heidi, y'all. It's his hand.
So...
what y'all doing?
TJ starts explaining the rules, and he's like, I don't even remember what he said, but he said something like, "Don't let me down," and then Cameron just like grabs his arm and like nestles up to him and is like, "TJ, we're gonna let you down."
Well, it was he called Keena and Cameron up, and right off the bat, Cameron's standing there. She's standing real weird. She's got like one leg popped
it's like a little
out
kid who's like been told a secret and they're like, "Don't tell anyone," and they're like, "Oh my god,
it
guys."
was so weird. So she had a leg popped out. She's got both her hands on her hips, and she keeps like looking at TJ, looking back the other way, like
all the rookies that know she's not going to
keep
go.
Looking back and forth, and she's like giggling and smiling while he's telling the rules, and she's like, "Well, I have to tell you, this is going to be a little boring, but I am succumbing to the elimination."
She kept saying succumbing.
And TJ was like, "No, there has to be a fight today." And she loops her arm through TJ's arm and like clings onto him like a flirty wannabe girlfriend.
Maybe she wanted to be.
And, I was uncomfortable. But she did that, and then she's like, "Oh well, I don't want to do that because I'm succumbing." And TJ was like, "Well, somebody has to climb up there and get the flag for this elimination."
Which I'm glad that he just made Keena do it. He's like, "You're not winning until you get that flag," and then he just like, this is where probably it all starts with TJ. He's like, "Does anybody else want to quit? Like, what are you guys doing here? This is a competition."
That right there is what made Challenge Production be like, "He's it."
Yeah, like this.
He's our host.
Like, this is his thing. And then you get this weird back and forth between like the girls on the rookie side and the girls on the vet side, and that's where the whole Anissa thing going at Kara for some reason, and like Anissa's like, "Oh, you weigh 100 pounds, blah blah blah," and it's just like, why is this happening right now?
Why is this happening?
I don't know, but her eyeshadow was.
There's some odd fashion choices in this season for sure, and Anissa's probably one of the ones that sticks out.
I mean, I understand it's 2004, but what happened to some of these
I think it's
people?
2005 actually. But yeah, it was just like this is like blowing up for no reason, and they're like, "If you knew her, you'd understand." And Katie's like, "I know her." And I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
And so Keena wins. She climbed the net and got it. And people were like, "She's just so strong. She's what we need in the captain." And I was like, I don't remember Keena being a great competitor, if I'm being honest. Maybe she was.
She's a better competitor than Cameron, that's for sure.
Yes.
Cameron
because
couldn't wait to go home.
succumbed to the elements or whatever
She was so excited to quit. And like she even when TJ was asking, he's like, "Does anybody else want to quit?" Somebody starts like yelling out "quitter," and Cameron's like, I'm a quitter. And I'm like, why are you proud of that?
As much as we said about Derek earlier, like in his confessional, he's like, "This is a competition for money." He's like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "Yeah, exactly." Like
you took the spot of somebody else that would have wanted to come and try and win money.
Again, I don't know. It's annoying. Like this is weird just because like they like played it up so much to get to the elimination instead of just like she knew she was quitting as soon as they got into the deliberation thing, but then they like held it out. So I don't know. Then we get back to another Randy and Keena bed session, and
this is where he upper lip kissed her.
That's it. He went. Mm-hmm. He just maybe he just has bad aim. You know.
Or poor depth perception.
He needs that wiki article or WikiHow video, and
We should find him on social
media. We do
media.
not follow him on anything.
We should find him on social media and send him the link to that video.
There's probably not a ton from this season that we do follow, like Landon and MJ. Well, no, Landon's was a fake one. That's what it was. MJ.
Okay.
Ruthie.
Mm-hmm.
Robin. Okay. Mark Long. Which Mark Long replies and talks to us all the time. And then like, hey, you should come on the podcast. And he'll like it and whatever. And then he never does. And
the nerve.
Yeah, the nerve of Mark.
The audacity.
Yeah, come on. You're not doing anything else. You can come on here. I'm trying to think. I can't even place who's on the show. Like, we follow, like...
Katie,
maybe Keena. I doubt it,
I don't know who else is on.
I think we do follow Kara, the original Kara. And With a K. And... we don't follow a lot of these like guys like Randy, and we might follow Jamie Murphy, who's hasn't done anything since he said I came here from a Buddhist monastery, and then has literally basically not been in any episodes.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he's just in the background. We follow Timmy, I think, if from what I remember, but maybe not. So, Landon thinks that Randy and Keena do definitely have a conflict of interest because they are going to 100% like look out for the other one and like vote accordingly and all that stuff. And then I said they have a weird kiss, and then that's the end of the episode.
All right.
I don't remember what the post credit thing was in this episode. I didn't even write it down. So it must. Oh, it was Timmy and David talking about being on a golf course and like hitting on waitresses, and that's it.
It was weird.
They're just so odd, those two, in the realm of the challenge. But I kind of like it. Again, I am enjoying this season. I know one of our like longtime original patrons who's a big sucker for these old seasons. He told us, he was like, the last episode was one of my favorite ones you guys have done in a long time, and it's like watching a different show. Like,
wait, who said that?
Statman Paul.
Like the first episode we did for
the first recap of Gauntlet 2.
Why was it his favorite?
Just in general, I think we were hitting good vibes.
Oh well, dang man!
But also
we're covering an old season.
This has been more fun to watch.
It's just different. Like it's not even the same time. I don't think it's necessarily better, but I don't think the new show's better necessarily. I think there's a balance of a kind of in between, and they've kind of peaked, and there's a lot of peaks and valleys.
Comparing apples to oranges.
It very much so. I mean, they've got the same like bones, but it's like completely different.
Where's your meat at?
Yeah, where's your meat at? Where do you keep your meat at?
Where's your meat at, Han?
In the fridge.
So
actually, my HelloFresh box came in today.
Oh well, that's great.
So you guys got any final thoughts for this? I am enjoying watching this. I was going to get to that. I was just seeing if you had final thoughts first.
I was looking at my notes because I was mostly just going off memory talking about this. I totally forgot because I made mention of it in my notes that while Joe was having her meltdown, I actually laughed at one part. I don't laugh a lot.
You're not a laughing man.
You
don't find much things humorous and fun.
When she was having that meltdown, Derek just looked at her and said, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, but you could tell he was drunk.
That's pretty good.
And he just wasn't understanding the situation.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
He was just like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "That is kind of an appropriate response because
it's an appropriate response sober."
Agreed. Like she's like calling the police and like Ruthie's manhandling her like supposedly and all this stuff. So, let's get to the superlatives. Who smashed some heads?
Joe smashed the cops' heads when she called and said if they didn't come get her, she was suing the whole island somehow.
What I just said, Derek smashed Joe's head with the "What's wrong with you?"
I'll not a great, not a great episode to
get your head smashed.
To pick superlatives from.
What happened to you?
I'm gonna say Derek. That was a good elimination win. And nobody wanted him back. I guess out of the two, they wanted to add him back. And you know what? No, I'll give it to Timmy because at one point he said Derek's brains were like popcorn, popping around in there. So I'll give it to there. So who got their head smashed?
TJ. It's his first season, and everybody wants to quit.
I'm going to give it to Anissa because Han really bashed her eyeshadow.
She did.
Sorry.
I'll give it to Katie for
Cigarettes.
For just I don't know. It's just such a weird thing that it's just like such casually smoking at like this big, like production would just not even just from a health standpoint, just as like how they're way too casual, how she was acting, and just like all right, here we go, and so I'll give it to Katie for that one. So I didn't say it at the top of the show. Patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast is where all the Patreon exclusive stuff goes, all ad-free podcasts. You know, the Survivor finale that we will be recording soon, and you know, just our off-topic podcasts and things like that. So go there. Ask Smashing Heads on Twitter. Ask Smashing Heads on Facebook and Instagram. I have to say it every week because we get new followers every single week, and maybe you're new, and if that's the case, then I hope you enjoy it. If you're not new and for some reason this triggered you to finally do it, then good job for me. And you know what? Even the big podcasts that I listen to that have famous people behind them, they're like, guys, please just rate and review us and whatever. So I don't feel bad about this. Guys, rate and review us. Dude, 5 stars on iTunes really goes a long way.
It really does.
And
We're a triple 5-star peoples.
A triple of 5 stars peoples.
Well, I can't say couple because couples too, and there's 3 of us.
Yeah, write that on your reviews. These are triples of 5 stars peoples.
Right.
And we'll know where it's coming from. And until then, we will be back with you for episodes 4 and 5.
Have a good night, everyone.